like to call the August 28th, 2017 meeting of the Ayer Board of Health to order. Public input? Did you have anything to say other than hello? No. Hello. Okay. Very good. Review of minutes. This is from July 24th, which looked...
Actually, I'm quite upset with these minutes and I want them corrected.
All right.
And I don't seem to have...
Don't tell me you are Skinner again.
No. What I'd like is, I don't think I brought my copy when I was...
Here, do you need a copy?
The agenda, no, the agenda. That's what I think I didn't grab off the table when I...
Jane, do you have an extra copy of those minutes that Mary's referring to? That's the only thing I didn't print out.
What, the minutes
From the 24th?
or to the 24th, yes.
Thanks, hon.
I don't know that I have.
It's a pencil, but...
So somebody will have to mark it because I just gave you my copy.
Oh, then I can look on with the chair.
Oh, we can share.
Like I said, that was the only thing
Well,
I didn't print out.
I can go down to where I have a
Okay.
problem. But first of
That's
all,
fine.
there is a typo, I believe, up where under it says food permits.
Okay.
Ladies of the Oriental Shrine of where? Is it supposed to be Mass?
Oh, of NA?
What is NA?
I think I took on that.
I said it, I think it's probably a typo. But let's go down to
All right. So that's
the ongoing business in 1, 2, 3, the fourth bullet.
Mhm.
When we were discussing the opioid
Yes.
crisis, and I think you will remember this, Tricia, but the way this reads, it looks as though I must be in a coma and know nothing about what's going on with the opiate thing, even though, of course, we've had deaths in my neighborhood. M. Spinner mentioned that the Lowell Sun ran an article on the opiate crisis. Well, isn't that good? I apparently knew nothing about it till then, even though, if you remember that discussion that we had, I referenced this article in the Lowell Sun because it was on the program they had up in Fitchburg, and you immediately got on and looked it up, and I suggested to you that you call Sherman Whitman, he's been around this area and on local radio, and get some information from them, because whatever you want to do, anybody can go online, and that's not going to mean a darn bit of thing. But that was the discussion on here, and in fact, you looked it up and said, oh yes, the radio station is whatever it is.
And I have had a conversation and an email
So,
from Sherman.
but that,
Change it. I didn't take it that way at all.
well, I did.
Yeah.
I'm
We can have
quite,
it.
but that's why I referenced it, not that, oh my God, she just looked and saw there's an opiate crisis. She read it in the Lowell Sun. No, I specifically referenced that article in the Sun due to, hey, they're right up the street in Fitchburg, and maybe they could give you some information and what you can going to do or want to do on
So if
this.
we could edit, I think then what's just missing is something off the end of the sentence that we could probably write in and then do like an approve with.
Well, I'd
Change.
like to see how it comes, because I'm not really happy with that, I can tell you that.
Well,
Let's-
Mary,
let's-
would you like to, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, of course.
Through the
Yeah.
chair, through to Mary, would you like to edit it as you would like to see it appear? Because I see, you've just told me this thing and it kind of rambles, and I
Well-
don't know who this Sherman person is.
For one-
I don't even know how to spell his name. And when I do the minutes, all I have to do is note actually the germane discussions.
That is correct.
Dealing with things that we vote on.
That
Right.
is correct.
Exactly.
And so this is kind of a rambling thing. I don't believe that we took a vote, and I didn't get into tremendous amount of detail
Yeah.
because the other problem that I have when I do these minutes, Mary, and this is one of the things that you have drummed into me, unless we have a public hearing and there's some kind of special thing, is that I'm trying to get all this stuff on one page. And there was quite a bit this time. And so, that kind of detail was not, I didn't think warranted. But I'll be happy to do it, but I need to have the specific, if I'm going to mention somebody's name, I need the spelling of the name. I need to know exactly who they are and everything else. And when we have a conversation, and that's conversational, and I'm taking the minutes, I don't necessarily know the context of that. You might know the context, but I don't. So
I
left
said
it out.
it all that day because that was the conversation we had. You're trying to come up with some type of program or something. And that's why I referenced that specifically. It caught my eye because you generally don't see something about they referenced it in the Lowell Sun. Apparently it was a successful program. And I said to Tricia, why don't you contact him, find out about the program, and see if you can get any ideas and help. You looked it up and you said, I'll do it. So that was that conversation.
So
I don't know who this person is. I
what
still
about,
don't know.
What about if we add on to the end of this sentence about the opioid crisis, in which a Fitchburg radio program, a Fitchburg radio program, is it, do you have the guy's name exactly? Is it?
It was Sherman Whitman, and it
Okay.
was WPKZ, it's the Fitchburg radio station, and they have the RCA Radio Hour, which is Recovery Centers of America is sponsoring it.
Okay.
So it's the RCA Radio Hour that people can call in and talk about anything that has to do with that crisis.
And it's Mr.
Sherman Whitman is
Sherman
the DJ, and
He's like the host of
yeah,
it? Or?
yeah, the
Okay.
midday, and he has other guests at different times. I was away when they had the next spot on August 14th, so
Right,
I didn't
and you
get
had
to
said
hear
that.
it. Yeah,
You had
but
said
I
that.
did. He did get back to me. It took a little while, but he did
Yeah.
get back, and we can discuss that at a later time.
Sure.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
I
so
think I got it.
you're going to put that in.
In which, or operating crisis, which mentioned the RCA, Recovery Centers of America Radio Hour on WT, what did we figure out it was? PK?
WPKZ. I'm sorry. PKZ.
W-
yeah,
in Fitchburg.
PKZ.
Oh, PKZ.
Yeah.
See, I thought it said
KZ.
PK6.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
did.
Actually, we don't need to say that. He wants to know. Radio Hour on WPKZ, hosted by Whitman Sherman? Or
Sherman Whitman.
Sherman
Quite a
Whitman.
name.
But he's been around local
Yeah,
radio
yeah,
for a
he
long
was
time. He was
back
at
in the
out of
day.
Worcester, and he
Yeah.
now he's moved to Fitchburg. He's done.
Yeah, he was in
lot of
Boston back in the 70s and the
Yeah.
80s, I remember.
So
Just
I
want to double check.
would propose.
Originally, I believe, from the hard streets of, as he always called it, of Detroit.
I would propose that we add on to the end of that sentence. Ran an article in the blah 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 edition about the opioid crisis, which mentioned the RCA, Recovery Centers of America Radio Hour on WPKZ, hosted by Sherman Whitman.
And I suggested that she call him and get some information, which she said she'd follow up.
Well,
and
I
do.
know that, but we can't put word for word what everyone
No,
said.
no.
To me, that was the point, was that there was a show that you were calling her attention to that had to do with the topic. There's a lot of information in that paragraph, so I think that does kind of capture it. So,
So you made that change?
yeah, it's horrible, so you're gonna have to retype these.
Okay. I can do that.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, please take a look at that.
Yeah. Okay,
No.
thanks.
I
And I, may need to have to squeeze this in a little harder.
Yeah, you might have to fool around with fonts a little
Yeah.
bit
Okay.
or something like
Is
that.
there anything else, Mary?
No. Okay.
Just the NA, right? That was the.
Yeah, I have no idea what exactly that means. All right, we're into Neshoba. I don't know if there's anything in here specifically about Nasoya, so I'm going to take a quick look and see. Doesn't look like there is. I'm also going to check mail very quickly. Does anyone else have
Well,
info on Minnesota?
Soya, is there more complaints about you?
Yeah.
No? What's that?
well, first of all, have you got? Did you take out whatever she had in here?
Yep, it did.
Well, you might want to reference that because it's that quick 10-minute meeting that you and I had
Oh, yeah.
on the 7th of this month, so we could approve that permit. How soon you forget?
No, what I'm asking about is the soil. That
Because
had
that was
nothing
on
to
the
do with.
agenda.
No, well,
No, all we did was,
But these-
talk about a well.
correct, and in the approval is in there, if you look, I think, in what she
Yes, it
gave you.
is.
Yeah.
It is. So the question stands, does anyone have any information about Nasoya?
I thought that she was gonna come and, give me stuff, but I left stuff for her, and as far as I can tell, she wasn't in today.
Yeah, and I was checking my emails, and I had asked her to let me know if there's anything new with
And I
Nasoya.
know that there's been some issues, but I
Have
don't
you-
know the extent or any content to that, except that they've had some problems, but that's,
Right, but do you know, have you gotten any new
I haven't
calls
heard
or
of
anything? Okay.
Pete.
Okay.
No.
I'm gonna
There
call
is a
her.
meeting tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock
All right,
with Michelle Delmore from Mass DEP,
okay.
with Mark Wetzel. Bridget is scheduled to go, and the town administrator will be there.
Okay, perfect. That's what we need. So we've got Michelle, Mark Wetzel, Robert, and Bridget.
I believe, now Mass DEP could be bringing someone else,
Yeah.
but I believe that's all.
Okay. Is Nasoya?
Oh, and the
Yeah.
representative that
And Nasoya.
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
right. All right.
Because as you probably heard, or maybe didn't hear, or watched it, or whatever, Don Osmer and the group were here again at the last selectmen's meeting
Mhm, yeah.
complaining, and
Yes.
the Nasoya people were here.
Yes.
And he said that they are very serious about correcting this problem. However, to say that they're a multi-million dollar, they've spent $12 million already this past year on this problem. And they're doing it just because one of the selectmen kind of intimated that, well, we'd hate to shut down the business, but we can't go on
Right.
like this. And they
Exactly.
said, no, we're very serious about correcting this. The man was at our meeting.
Yes, yeah, I know.
You know who
Yeah,
I mean.
I do, yeah.
The engineer was there.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
who that gentleman is too.
Yeah.
And then this other man who said, no, we're very serious about this, and we are trying and working on it, and we understand that the neighbors, that it's a very awful smell, and it isn't always there. You
Right.
could have 2 weeks when it's fine, and then you have another day when you open your door,
Yeah.
and it's horrid, and it seems to even get into your clothes, so there's no rhyme or reason. And I think we've all got calls to go down there at various times, and I know Bridget
Yeah.
has been down there at 10 o'clock at night, and I mean, everybody is spending a lot of time. So I believe that Michelle Delmo was on vacation at the time of the selectmen's meeting, which was the 15th. So
Okay.
he said, we're going to schedule it and go
Okay.
from there. So that's
Okay.
tomorrow.
Then I'll follow up on that with Bridget from the next meeting. The last discussion I had with Bridget was that it was at, it had been elevated to Mass DEP and that they were again involved in it. I didn't know if they were going to do it via our meeting, via something that they do with the SHOBA, the courts, the selectmen. I had no idea.
wow.
So, okay. So,
And
we
I
have
think Mark Wetzel was away too when some of this was going on. So everybody, they had
Yeah.
to reschedule everything.
Okay. So that's going to be the August 29th.
It's tough when things happen over the summer, right?
I know.
Different to get a quorum of,
Yeah.
And it's an unusual problem over there
Yes.
because you could go for 3 weeks or 3 months and have nothing.
right.
And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden they get a rash of it.
It's
Well-
the inconsistency that makes
No,
it
they do.
difficult.
I mean, they have my sympathy, but it's right up until the point where people called that there was an odor, and Bridget called and spoke with the point person from Nasoya who said, "There's no odor." And then the local, the guy from the show that works with her that lives nearby went over there and
Yeah,
said,
Rick.
"It reeks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no odor."
Yeah.
So that's where they kind of started losing me, but we'll see. Maybe that wasn't as bad as it sounds. All right. So then, Nasoya, I guess, to be continued.
Yeah.
Other things from Neshoba, we have a certified letter from July 31st that went out from Bridget to Robert Martin, the owner of 81 Willard Street in Ayer. He has several problems here in a rental apartment that he has to fix, handrails. He has problems with smoke detectors and CO2 alarms, holes in the foundation. There's a soffit that's in disrepair, probably rotting like some of my soffits right now. And I don't see, secure outside foundation, entry for snakes.
That sounds
That's
to me like
That
this
should be
has
at the top of the
probably
list.
been a long time that the tenant's been complaining and the landlord hasn't done anything, so
Yeah.
he picked up the phone and called Bridget.
Could be.
That's what it sounds
Yeah.
like.
All right, so Bridget's on top of that. We got Neshoba Valley. I'm assuming this is the high school. She just writes Neshoba Valley. They had an inspection and apparently we're fine.
Is it the hospital or just?
It just says Neshoba Valley.
I bet it's the.
You think it's the hospital?
It must be. Wouldn't be. It would have said air.
Well, that's True, yeah.
Michelle
Yeah.
Valley Medical Center.
Yeah, it's gotta be the, yeah, it's gotta be the
Excuse me.
hospital, you're right.
No address. Okay.
No. All right. Okay, this is a little, I'll save that for the end because it was like a little thing that kind of started and fizzled out. This is the permit for construction of an irrigation well on 62 Wright Road. We had a very fast meeting just a few days after the last meeting, where we met just to talk about this one thing, and we did that very quickly because the contractor needed to get this job going. Mary, were you going to write up minutes for that? I mean, it's gonna
I
be
thought you
paragraph.
could just say it. That's why I.
Okay, you
said
know what?
just-
Then that's not a bad idea. So I'm saying it. Let's
Okay.
capture it in the minutes for tonight. And the meeting was held on
The 7th.
Thank you.
August 7th.
August 7th.
Because you were going to be away the next week.
And
Yes.
what time?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9 a.m. Who was there?
Bridget, Mary, and myself.
It was over at 9:10.
Yeah, I don't know if it lasted that long.
Okay.
And it was just to talk about the fact that this
We didn't
this well
understand
is
it.
just for irrigation.
Right. Remember at that prior
Yeah.
meeting, we didn't. We said we needed more information. I
Right.
don't think we
Yes.
quite understood what
Why
that
you-
was.
yeah.
Exactly. And the issue was that he was a little too close to the property line in one area, so there were some
Because of our
There
well
were a
rates,
few
he had
things
to
that
get a
didn't- right.
variance from
didn't
us.
quite follow our
Right.
well regulation. But as Bridget noted, he was within the limits had he been putting in septic. So an irrigation well, no, certainly would have been acceptable.
Okay, Bridget noted that he was
I don't know if
within-
we even need that.
No.
It's no,
So
we
how-
don't need that.
What was the outcome?
The outcome was we approved
Yeah,
it.
it was
yeah.
approved.
This was from Skillings, which was the company
Right,
that
I
was
remember.
going to do it.
Yeah.
And he when he wrote that letter to us, it was, tell me what I need to
What
do.
I need, he was asking just about.
Well, I
Yeah,
think he
yeah.
probably looked at the well regs
Right.
and
Yeah.
said, I need this variance. And
Yeah.
the owner wants to, oh my gosh, I want to get this done because, this is Massachusetts. We could have snow in the middle of September.
Right. Yep,
I want to get this
exactly.
done this year. So
Yeah.
that's why she said, can you please come in?
Right, it was more an expedience thing. We didn't
fast.
want to keep him waiting
Right.
all the way
Yeah.
till
Yeah.
the 27th.
So
Okay, Apple Valley inspection. No critical violations. Nothing there. We also have here from Conoco, engineers and scientists, a notification that non-PCB mineral oil dielectric fluid was released from a converter terminal at Sandy Pond.
I am so confused by this address.
I am too. I'm looking at it going, I was hoping you knew.
Where is, I was looking at it this
Radisson
afternoon,
Road.
Radisson Road.
I have
tell
never
me that
heard.
again because I didn't get any of that. So I don't know what
This
you're
is a
talking
converter
about.
terminal.
Isn't
Right.
there an electrical thing there? There's a big, there's a like.
Yeah, but what is
big
Radisson
box.
Road?
Never. You mean,
I've never heard of Radisson Road.
Right to the, if you're going down towards the Sandy Pond,
Yeah.
towards the beach, I think it's, I might be wrong about where it is relative to the beach, but I think it's just before you get there, there's a big green, like, utility box.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I
Yeah.
think that's where it is.
huh.
I'm not sure.
It's new to me that,
Well, I didn't, that's where I thought it was, but
okay.
I have never
New England
heard.
Hydro Transmission Corporation,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Radisson Road.
So there really is a Radisson Road? That's amazing. the things you learn.
And what did,
Oh,
what,
worked out.
it's where it looks to me like it's where the high tension wires are across from where
That would make sense.
the farm was. We should zoom in. Let's see.
Well, this is called,
Well, that's
it's
not-
the Sandy Pond Converter Terminal.
except that it's on Westford Road, is that what you're saying? Because that's,
No, she's saying there really is a Radisson Road.
yeah,
Okay,
Didn't
here we
know
go.
it existed.
Nemco Way.
Yeah.
It's right across from Nemco Way, which isn't that across from
Oh, yes, it is.
the farm?
It
The
is.
farm.
Right, but I see what it is. It's probably called that.
It's
the
the side, I don't
Sandy
think
Pond
it's,
Converter Terminal, because those power lines go up and,
yeah.
Head up
Because
towards
there's
Sandy
Radisson
Pond.
Road, I can't get
Yeah,
the
yeah,
And
I
there's
see.
Nemco Way. Is
Yeah.
it Nemco Way where all the, we're down by Missoula? and
yes,
everything?
Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yep,
So it's all
that's-
industrial.
it's all in that
Exactly.
industrial area.
Yeah.
Radisson Road.
So what
And what did
happened?
they have a spill?
Okay, what happened was approximately 240 gallons of non-PCB, which is good. PCBs are the things we don't like. Mineral oil, dielectric fluid spilled because of a mechanical failure of a bushing. And this mineral oil is used, I believe, as like an insulating, an electrical insulating material. This is it's a high voltage DC converter terminal, so it's probably stepping up or down the voltage coming from the wires. They have attached here, this letter was to notify us, and I also attached a copy of the form, standard form that they fill out, that they had to send to Mass DEP.
So that's like after the fact, if there's something that goes wrong, like
Yep.
an incident report.
It's
of
an
sort,
incident,
they have
that's
to-
exactly
okay,
what it is.
So they fill that
Yeah,
out.
it's in it. They have a standard report for these
Okay.
unintentional releases. A
Boo-boos.
spill. Yeah, exactly. And they generally say here where it was a sudden release. I'm just looking to see if it says where they took information, because they took it away. Information related to this disposal site. Notification, Central Regional Office. This all happened back in May.
Oh, God.
So why is
Yeah.
it just coming?
No, because it's probably the wheels of.
So it's like it's probably it's a law, they have to report it, they have to
Yeah, it is.
fill out the
Yeah.
incident
Yeah.
And then it
report.
Yeah.
eventually.
And this is just
grinds
a
its way
follow-up
around
that
to
we
us.
get, yeah.
Mhm.
As the good thing is, as far as things that you can spill go, mineral oil is not
Yeah.
too bad. As Mary, you probably used it a lot in nursing,
Yeah.
right? You actually can drink it, probably not 240 gallons of it.
Cause and effect.
Yes, exactly. You'd be unhappy for a while. but,
Conoco.
So that's that. That's all over and done with, now considering it's 3 months later. We have in here a notice that the appeal deadline has elapsed. This was issued by the town clerk on the filing of our decision to grant the special permit to Max Seda for 41 East Main Street on the Aquifer District. And the last thing in here, I'm just going to mention very quickly because it kind of came up and went away very quickly. There was an application that went in, looks like, to the town for Insurance Auto Auctions Corporation,
Yes.
who wanted to do an auto auction on Willow Road, actually at 0 Willow Road. and they, well, zero.
So my husband used to work there as a car carrier back in the 70s and 80s. It's just this big vacant lot now
Oh, no
where
kidding.
the car carriers used to park.
Oh, okay.
Now they have the other one on the other side where they
Okay.
went through all that with the aquifer.
Oh, yeah.
So I was very surprised when I read that they were even going to attempt to put something in there.
It says here, 15-acre paved parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they wanted to use this for the storing of operable and inoperable vehicles, which I assume would have, then be auctioned in some way. So this application came in. Bridget and Carly informed them that this actually is a prohibited use. It's in the Aquifer District.
Yep.
It's a prohibited use. They pulled the application, so it came up, and it went away. All between the last meeting and today.
We like, yeah.
So that was that truly was a flash in the pan,
Yeah.
as my father used to like to say.
Yes.
So, here are our Shelba. Now, Mary, I think we have put this on about the last at least 3 agendas.
Because we didn't have it until.
What?
Did we actually have it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Awesome.
we had it.
What happened? This is the Neshoba
Oh,
Associated with
okay.
the
Right,
quarterly
remember we hadn't
Yes.
had it because Jim hadn't
Yeah.
been able to get it scheduled in all the towns. So we did have it. We get a new member on the board. She's from Marcia, spelled Marcia, Rising. She's from Stowe. They were the last.
Is this like the
member.
board of
The executive board?
Yeah.
And they were the last town to come
Yes,
in.
yeah.
They're very happy being in. Things are working well. So she got elected to as a member at large. The meeting that they had with regards to this ongoing pension problem, which will probably go on until forever. However, nothing got done at that meeting. Like it was,
Yeah.
we only went back 3 years. Well, you can't go back any further. And you made the mistake because years ago you said, yes, Neshoba is part of the state pension plan.
Yeah.
Neshoba took the amount of money out of the people's paychecks. And then all of a sudden, 30 years later, you get a bill saying, oh, well, you owe us all this money because you didn't contribute. Well, what do you mean we didn't contribute? We were part of the system. So they made a mistake. And now they were trying to go back and say, you've got to pay for a mistake that we made 30 years ago, and it's not going to happen, So since that point, Terry, who's the finance person, has been setting a little bit of money away every pay period, like to try. We know we're going to
Yeah.
have to pay something,
Right.
but a small agency like this, we can't afford
Yeah.
to pay $500,000 a year.
Is it going to like mediation or something?
They've got another meeting scheduled for September 7th.
And this is with the state?
With
the
this group that they put together some kind of a, there's so many people on it. They're supposed to review all these separate matters and come up with a solution per se.
Are they a private group though, or
No,
are they
different. No,
they're from the state?
yeah.
They're-
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Got it.
What was interesting was that when they originally tried to file it and get it on the state budget thing, the person that helped them and one of the people that signed it and filed it and brought it up was Senator Flanagan, whose last day is this
Yeah,
week.
right,
So she's on the
right.
new cannabis. But
Yeah.
anyway, they're hoping that they're going to get something done. So The chair is going to go down of the executive board, Jim is going to go, and I think Terry, our finance person, is going to go. So hopefully we'll get something done from that. And other than that, I mean, they're trying to, they went a little bit over budget this year putting the new IT system in, but it took a little longer to get everybody because they were hiring and filling all the positions that were vacant. So it took a little longer. So for a while there, you had two systems. Now
everything's changed over.
They've got everybody, every position is filled. So I think that other than we went up on one of the inspection fees, and I can't remember what we went up to. It's now $25. I think we went up maybe to 50 or something. That doesn't affect the towns. That affects whoever you have to go and inspect. So
exactly.
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, a lot of it is routine with okay, this is what the new ACA is, what we have to do, the whole documentation. Excuse me. They are getting a lot of more calls, I think, for check on homes, people that life becomes hard and you think you're going to clean out the basement, you don't get to do it, then you think you're going to clean out the attic, and this one's sick or that one's sick, or one spouse dies and the other one is overwhelmed. How can we get help?
You're describing me, right?
Exactly. A lot of it too is people become overwhelmed with just life in general, and it might be a matter of just the social worker go in with the nurse to say, you know what, we have this group that can do this, or these volunteers, or sometimes it's just a matter of knowing who they can call to come take it away. It isn't a matter of everybody's they're not looking for a freebie or something like that.
Right.
They just need to know where they can go.
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually a good point for people watching at home, that Neshoba Associated Boards of Health, they are a great resource. If you're having, health issues, public health issues, housing issues, it's always worth a call. The problem you're having may very well be something that they handle, and if it's not,
they'll steer you.
They will find you, a direction to go in.
And what they do now, because everybody, has their iPads with them, so if they go into your home to check someone, I mean, they're taking all the information. Everything's done. It's not like it was in the old days where you'd be taking notes and you'd have to go back and somebody would have to do it up, and there was so much double work. Now everything's done. And with the healthcare laws the way they are now, like Jim said, if you miss one particular thing when you file something, you're not going to get paid, right? So then you've got to turn around and refile it. But as he said several times, but he still has a payroll to do every week.
Right.
So it's important to get everything right.
Exactly.
And the visiting nurses now come with their laptops. And they can pull everything on there, and it's, if they have to send an email to the doctor or the nurse practitioner, they can do it right from your kitchen table.
I know, and it's phenomenal because even if you have a different nurse on one day,
she can pull the notes up from the last one.
She's got all the notes.
Exactly.
It is nice.
Much better.
And
do they still have was it a nurse or a social worker that had some experience with hoarding?
yes,
That person is still there. Correct?
She had been able to do it because I think she left the company she was working for and started her own. So she's able to give them the equivalent of what they need, because it might be the equivalent of 2 days a week, but it could be 2 hours here, 4 hours there.
Sure.
But it's worked out very well so far. So
I think that's a very specialized skill.
Yes, it
The
is.
psychology of it, to figure out why is this happening and how can it be.
And And I said to Mary, I said, you wonder sometime with the way the new healthcare laws are, and they're trying to keep everybody out of the hospital, you wonder, we've got all these hospitals. How are they all going to be viable in another 20 years? Because they get better markings. The object is, if you're in the hospital, get you out of there quick, get you home quickly, get you with services there. Now, if something happened and you turned up and you went back to, say, the emergency room, they get marked down on that.
Points,
It's all this crazy.
But that's
point
good.
system.
That certainly beats just making it so that you have to get them out of there quickly.
It does
At
in
least
one
they're tracking
sense,
the
but
coming back.
you'd like them to almost be able to, get out of anesthesia before. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's sometimes, I know, it sounds bad, but
I
it
know.
sometimes is too quick. It's
Yeah.
one thing if you have something done and you're 22 years old, you can leave in 6 hours. If you have the same procedure and you're 72, that's a whole different thing. So everything is getting out there today. It's working with the various doctors' offices. It's working with the local nursing homes and stuff. So there's a lot of PR work to be done.
I think what might happen is, I think we're seeing something really interesting happen in Sheldon Valley, and that's that they're kind of taking off with this weight management, bariatric surgery. They have all kinds of different options for surgical weight management, diet-based weight management. So they've probably lost a lot of their, what used to be the patients that would go in there for procedures. And they're adapting to, now this is a problem. So there's, they can fill a need there.
So we probably will not have another meeting, I wouldn't think, until where we missed the June one and we didn't meet until August. Whether we'll have one in October, I don't know yet.
Yeah,
He
that
might
would seem
just
kind of soon.
he might just wait towards the end of the year and
Make
then
that a next meeting TBD.
we'll.
You can just let us know.
Yeah. Well, you get the agenda anyway. You
I
get
do,
the notice. Everybody does. So that's that.
I just have a question for you, Mary. On the pension thing, is this actually affecting anybody who's drawing the pension? Is anybody being shorted at this point?
They're not being shorted because it has to be. Right now, you have to pay them. Probably younger people are not going to be staying in. You know what I mean? Today, the 30 years ago, nursing was a whole different thing than it is now. If you got into an agency and you liked it and you got your pay and benefits, you stayed till you retired. Now people are so mobile that they may do something for a year or 2 years, and then they hear of someplace else and they say, "Wow, they're offering. I can make $10,000 a year more." So they keep
Some of them
changing.
are union and some of them aren't.
Well, they're union over here. The nurses are union over here.
In some places, they're still fighting, for that.
Yeah. But I think what Pam was saying is it shorting anybody? Well, we had a few. That's how this kind of came up, was because people were just starting to retire. So.
And it's happening everywhere. The Teamsters, they're in trouble. All those guys that for 30-something years, and then they go to get out, and now they're saying, well, we're going to have to cut it in half. It's like, that's my money saved for.
I know.
It's everywhere.
These things you planned on having. Okay, great. Thank you.
All right.
So, two things under ongoing business. The first one I think is pretty quick. I have not heard anything new about smoking age at a state level.
No, I haven't.
For the cannabis, nothing new on the laws, but there have been a couple of appointments to
I saw
the
that.
commission.
Yeah.
And I don't know how well that's going to go over with the the impression I'm getting is that the people that Baker is appointing, or are, Baker is appointing, are kind of, they were against the legalization to begin with, and I think that's eventually down the road, depending on what they do, going to cause some friction with the people that put it on the ballot,
Right.
but we'll see.
Yeah, and then there was an article in the Voice that I just happened to come across.
Oh, I haven't even read my
And
Voice
it
one
was,
this week.
I think it was an older one, when I came home. What's the date on this?
Oh, maybe I.
The 18th.
Oh, what's from the last one?
This is the
What's
one,
this?
somebody
Oh, right, I did see. Yes,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
the impaired driving.
Right, that's right.
And that
I did see that.
it's going to be down the road, this, you can get pulled over and they can do the blood alcohol, they can do the sobriety test, and they
Yeah.
said this is going to be interesting because then they're going to have state police. There's only like one or two that are actually trained in looking at someone and figuring out.
Right.
But it's still not a science, so how are they ever
Yeah.
going to make it stick? The courts are going to
There's
be...
no
There
test.
isn't any.
Yep,
It's a,
No.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
yeah, I
I
know
go to
it
that
is.
part of it.
It is, it's true. But the fact that there's no limit is interesting only in that it's not that different from if you're taking Benadryl.
Yes.
Or you're taking, I think if you're probably taking like oxycodone, you don't
Yes.
belong on the road to begin
Right,
with,
right,
but
right.
if you're taking, say, Benadryl or
Yeah, that
something
does that same kind of like...
makes you kind of drowsy, it's going to fall in that category, I think, at the beginning of people that you just know there's something not right
Something
about
not-
the way
yeah.
they're driving.
It's going to be
But,
hard to decipher that.
Yeah, it is.
Mm.
It
well,
is.
I'm a little confused right now on actually what's going on law-wise, and they discussed this at the selectmen's meeting. Now, from what we understood in the paper, remember the Senate and the House each came up with different versions, and they were supposedly had reconciled them, and the governor had to sign before the legislature
Yeah,
left.
right.
So that was towards the latter part of July.
Yes.
At the selectmen's meeting, when they were discussing it, Carly said, well, no, they don't have things settled yet. And I thought, geez, I read 2 papers every day,
Yeah.
and it was in the paper that he said. So some places, some towns, are voting on an 18-month moratorium until this gets done. I'm not quite sure if that's what they think they voted on or what. I think we need more information on
It
that.
sounds like we do. I was under the impression from reading newspapers
Yeah.
as well that, at least as far as that's concerned, it differed according to how your town voted in the election. If you were a town, I think that was the compromise they reached. If you were a town that just based on total vote count,
Correct.
you were a net no, then you have the option of doing that. If you were a town, and Ayer was in this category, that under the net vote voted yes, you can't do that. So it depended on which one of those categories.
So
you
one,
had
the
to-
select, or the city council, or whoever your governing board is. So
Yeah.
one could make the decision to have an 18-month moratorium on this. And as far as what are you going to do on the retail? Is that the whole thing that when you're talking about it?
No,
Or
I'm actually talking about the
Just the-
who gets to make that
Make-
decision. I think anybody can do a moratorium. It's just
But that's what
whether
I'm
it's the
saying.
selectmen
Or-
or like a town meeting.
one has to be a town
Right,
meeting.
we
and the
would
other
have
has
to be a town meeting. If you were a town that voted
Yes.
no, then it can be the selectmen. But if you were a town that voted yes, it has to be town
Well,
meeting.
I think it's we'll have to wait and see what they do here, because this is all
This is
supposedly
really
goes
confusing.
in.
I know.
Well, I think that I thought that citizens petition that was on there was fairly good. I mean, I didn't have to approve of it, but I think it's a lot of work to get a citizens petition.
Yeah, and it does seem pretty comprehensive to me.
But after the, famous legislature gets through with it,
Yeah.
and
It turned out a
then
little
now it
different.
has become a new government bureaucracy. These are jobs that
Right.
now you have forever. And they start at 120,000 a
Yep,
year.
I read that
And
too. Yeah.
only to go
Yeah.
up, we know that.
Yep.
And how
So-
many jobs? They just keep.
Oh my
There'll be
gosh.
more and more when this
Yeah.
starts to really.
One is approval and one is setting
Yep.
policy, and I said, oh yeah, no, and they'll all have health insurance and they'll all have pensions. Here we go, another big bureaucracy.
Yeah. Nice job if you can get it.
And something that, when they were talking about this too, on the radio and in the newspaper, it said something about, somebody asked, how is it that we spend all this amount of time and effort to get a citizen's petition, everything is certified properly, those are thousands of signatures,
Yeah.
and it's a ballot question
Yeah.
and it passes. What gives the legislature the right to ignore it or
That's a good
change
question.
it? Someone else says, oh, there's some law there, some little tiny bylaw that nobody knows about, but it allows them to do this because they've been changing it for
Always
years.
some loophole by
So-
law.
That nobody knows about for people with
Yeah.
benefits.
Well,
Yeah.
But that would be
Oh,
that would be a good
goodness.
research problem,
Oh.
Comply.
Yeah, but that's because if you think about it over the years,
Yeah.
wasn't our tax rate supposed to be down to 5% now? We
Yes.
voted that in 2000,
That's
17
correct.
years later. And it's only by pushing, dragging, and screaming that it's even the way it is.
Yeah. You are correct. There's the will of
Great.
the people, and then there's the will of the people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's the will of the legislature, which I think is something unto itself. All right, so I guess to be continued and watched. This, which Jane just handed to me, looks really interesting. Did
Yes.
you get your handouts here? It's going to be a moment to digest this. This would be good to, do we have like an opioid section of
We
our,
don't, but I can certainly have start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
sure. Start one.
Okay.
And, I think this would, it's just interesting information
Yes.
to see.
And I've seen this, because I attend a group on Wednesdays, so I've seen
Yep.
some PowerPoint presentations about this, some overheads, and it's
Incredible.
It is incredible.
How it's just kind of pooping along
Yeah.
at its little rate, and then it just shoots.
mhm.
And these are grossly under.
Oh, I'm sure.
reported.
I think
I'm
they
sure.
are too.
Grossly under.
Yeah.
Because it shows the town by town, which I pulled off, but for some reason I didn't make copies for everybody, which I intended to do. It shows that Ayer had 6 opioid deaths in 2016.
6.
6.
6?
And I think we talked about that before, Mary, how I have read something in the paper, unattended death.
Yeah.
No explanation.
Yep.
And if they don't
Yeah.
put that, then you don't know. I admire the families now
I
that
do
are
too.
putting it in,
I do too.
that are putting
Even obituaries.
Yeah.
That's an idea.
so-and-so
Yeah.
was lost his battle with addiction.
Yeah.
Or at the bottom, they'll say, in his memory, give to such and such.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, because when you see a 22-year-old, well, certainly didn't die of natural causes. Didn't die of, congenital heart.
Right.
Because if that was the case, they'd put it in there.
Right.
So
yeah.
good for the parents,
Yeah.
the families that are putting this stuff in.
But there's still a stigma, and I think, well, it does say here, which I think is interesting, data for 2015-2016 are preliminary. This is taken from death certificates. A large number of death certificates have yet to be assigned a final cause of death code. And as always, when you can only pick one code, sometimes you're thinking about the family,
Yeah.
and a lot of other things, and you might, if there's any other, a lot of people that are very deep into addiction, in particular homeless, have a lot of other health issues.
Oh, yeah.
So if you have
By then.
pneumonia,
Yep.
at the
Hepatitis.
time, right, hepatitis, or what really do you pick is that one code? So
Well,
there probably isn't a lot of consistency across the board with that,
Yeah.
too. But no matter how you cut it, this is astonishing,
It is.
how the numbers have jumped. It's just astonishing.
And it's grossly underreported.
Right.
Yeah, I think it is.
Hmm.
So, and I know you were out and,
But I
you had
did have a
some
lot of,
vacation plans
before I
and-
left, I had a conversation. I heard back from Sherman Whitman, and I did mention that, here we have that
Yeah.
state-of-the-art,
Yeah.
studio up at the high school, but that would also be a conversation to be had with Dr. Malone.
Oh, yeah.
But I said it in an email. I sent the email to Stuart Whitman, and I said, and I understand that the RCA radio hour, that's sponsored by recovery
Yeah.
centers. I mean, they're
Yeah.
big and booming, and that's another article I'll share with you later.
From yesterday's
Yes.
world. Yes.
But they're sponsored by that, and Jim
Yeah.
Wahlberg, who is part of the Wahlberg family,
Yeah.
he comes out and he's on it. So I put it out there, and I said, what do you think about that? And he called me at work and said, I did forward your email to them, and thought, maybe to get out of that studio in Fitchburg, if you got a big enough venue.
that's why I said
That's
that
right,
to you.
right. And I think involving the school, the mothers, that group in Shirley, they were going to do it another one anyways. And I spoke to one of the women that was involved in that, and I said, we'd like to make it, bigger
Yeah.
and community, because there's so many other people. It's not just, that's the prime population, is the younger people, to get them before.
Yes.
But I said, there's so many other people that are just wondering,
Well,
what
even
can we
older
do?
people.
Yeah,
Yes, what
yeah.
can we do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hadn't heard back from Sherman, but he did forward that. And I had been going to a group on Wednesday nights that, I don't know if we could post that on, if that's something, that's for people, anybody that wants to go
Oh,
and get
absolutely.
information. And then I just realized one of the men that is on board
Yes.
now he comes from Luck. And he,
I think we should.
yeah,
Yeah,
What's this?
here.
that's it. That's up at the old Burbank Hospital. Right in the back.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've become friendly with one of the women that runs it, because at another time we'll talk about it, but I became familiar with her through a personal crisis. So I started going to her group, and she works in conjunction with the district attorney's office
Yeah.
and AdCare. She wore a bunch of different hats. She used to be a life coach, and she's also recovered
Yeah.
through AA. So what her role is, she gets a phone call, it could be in the middle of the night, it could be any time, from like the ER in Leominster, and says, I've got
Wow.
somebody in here, we just gave Narcan, they're up and they're ready to leave. If you could come down and just talk to them and convince them to get into, and that's her job.
People that do
Can you
that are
imagine getting up at
incredible.
3 in the morning? I'll be right
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
And she goes down and she gets right on the phone and she tries to get them a
That
bed
is some
that night.
dedication.
So
boy.
it came to her that that needed to be expanded, that whole role.
Yeah.
So she's licensed now, and she has a place that her group is Tipping Point Recovery. So she's training people, average people, And she said to me, do you want to be trained? I said, I'm working full time. I don't have the inclination. I told her I was on the Board of Health and we're scurrying to get information.
Yeah.
She said it doesn't have to be a big commitment, but she is training people. There's a fee, you get certified, the whole 9 yards.
Okay.
But she said in any role, you could drive someone to a meeting.
Yeah.
You could pick
Yeah.
this person up and take them to a doctor, small roles.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways,
yeah,
it's the
yeah.
Recovery Coach Academy is what she is running, and she's doing it right now out of Terra Vista, the one in Devon's. I don't know when the next one is, but right now she had a training August 21st through the 25th, and she got a pretty good turnout. It's a 30-hour intensive training using all the principles of the adult learning theory that will enable recovery coach participants.
This might be good to post, even though the actual, meeting or the training is over.
She's going to do it
It's
again.
got her
Yeah.
contact information.
Her contact
So
information.
if people
they're
are
gonna- yeah.
interested.
And they're going to do it again. And I always think of it, when we were talking about
That's a good
doing,
one too.
when we were talking about the meeting at the school with the parents and everything. What do you do if it's not your child, or
Yeah.
it's somebody 30, 40 years old? Who do you
Right.
you want to talk about it and find out what you
Yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
So, waiting to hear back from them. They're going to talk to Dr. Malone, and then Jane and I were going to have a conversation
Yeah,
too.
well, I want to, can I contribute to this conversation?
Of course.
Okay. Through the chair to the board,
Yes.
I can get into the studio. That's not an issue.
This
That's-
one at the
Yeah,
school.
one at the high school.
Wonderful.
Great.
Oh, yeah. I'm of course having a show, and I've already talked to them about this.
Mhm.
So we need to put our heads together and decide when and who and everything else. But as far as getting the studio space and everything,
That's great.
we're fine.
Okay.
And so, and I was thinking probably in October.
That's what they were thinking too. The mothers in that sharp group that we're going to
Okay.
reconvene.
Yeah.
And I was also thinking on our end, we're not so much the school piece of it.
Yeah.
But after going to the other meetings on Wednesday nights in Fitchburg, and the statistics and like that information, it'd be great to have like ER nurses,
Yeah.
a
Yes.
doctor who can explain the physiology of why
Yeah,
this,
right.
things
Yes,
like that,
yeah.
that lay people don't understand.
Right,
That they just
right.
go, oh, he's a junkie, and
Yeah.
they don't understand
Yeah.
it. Whereas, healthcare people can contribute to that
Yep.
conversation
Yeah.
more than others.
Well, maybe you and I
Yeah.
can meet.
Yep.
And we'll get together, we'll produce, producing is about contacting the people you want to come and be
Mhm.
part of the discussion. You also we will want to have an audience, because we
Right.
wanted to tape it before a live
That's
audience.
Right, and I'd love to hear back from Sherman Whitman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, I've forwarded your email.
Yep.
And it did take him a little while to get back. I was
Yeah.
thinking after I sent it, he's not going to get back to me within a couple of days of that.
Oh, I know
thought.
he would.
Yeah, he did. He was very good. He didn't know exactly what he could do, but he said, maybe that's
Yeah.
something that can happen. And the, like I said, the healthcare people, and the other part of it is the school population.
But let's set up a time when you and I can sit
Sure.
together and,
Yeah.
figure out the nuts and bolts
Yeah.
and the details.
Oh, Sharon Webb, too, the counselor at Ayer, the
Okay.
middle school. I think she's going to go out and have knee surgery or something. But I got her email, too, from another parent.
I love your idea of kind of explaining it for the layperson, because I think if you haven't really had exposure to it, to help someone, you have to have some degree of empathy, and you've got to get past that, oh, they're just a junkie.
And you know what? I was guilty of that, as
Yeah.
anybody else, until it hit you personally. And even if it didn't hit you personally, when you see this, and then
Yeah.
like you explain it like a doctor will explain
Yeah.
it. It was explained to me at a meeting. They did it in a PowerPoint, but they showed the brain,
Yep.
they showed the physiology,
Yeah.
what happens, and I'm like, well, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
It really
Well, it
does.
affects the dopamine,
All of that stuff.
receptors.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it's part of our physiology. So there, but for the grace of God, go all of us.
I know.
We're all susceptible to this. It's part of the human condition, actually. It's
Exactly.
nothing new, but it's very, very serious in this age because we do have such powerful pain
We do.
relievers
We do,
and
and
stuff,
it's-
and it sets up
yeah.
a cycle that people get involved in, and it's terribly
And it's so
Yeah.
different than in the 70s and the 80s when you had the DARE officers that went into the schools to tell the kids don't do drugs, just say no,
Just
all
say
that,
no.
and they had the
Yeah.
dog and all that.
Yeah.
This is such a different animal.
Well,
It's
one of
not,
the problems
you know,
that we have, and this gets into a lot of stuff, but one of the problems we have is that substances have been identified with different groups.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you had the
Right.
marijuana that was identified with the hippies,
Yeah.
and you had heroin that was identified and with the black population.
And the inner cities,
Yeah.
you
And
never
so-
ever would have thought this would.
So a lot of
Right.
times, the whole war on drugs, it's been a way of controlling these populations and infiltrating and et cetera, et
Nothing
cetera.
says it like powder versus crack.
That's right.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
And
classic.
you know what else would
Exactly.
be, like, you think of these different populations, like I said, not just the school population of the 20s and 30s, and then I read that study about the veterans,
Yeah.
that were getting all these powerful painkillers coming back from
Yeah.
the war, and they couldn't get them anymore, so
Yeah.
they turned to heroin. So they
Yeah.
have their own little,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
big
this is the
breakdowns on
thing,
it.
is it's apparent, now it's apparent, because of the sheer numbers,
Mhm.
that this is not something that's part of a demographic that we can demonize.
Mhm.
You know, it is part indeed of the human condition, and we are all susceptible. So
Yeah.
what can we do
Mhm.
to prevent that from infiltrating our culture to the point where, I mean, it's very serious. I don't know of any family, if you get out into the extended families, that is not affected in some
Right.
way or
I
another.
know.
You'd be very surprised to talk
Yeah.
to people. But I wonder what, and we had talked when I first asked you, Mary, about the Associated Boards of Health and the grant for the schools and everything. And I talked to one of the moms in Shirley, and I said, gee, you know, we just really started talking about it at our Ayer meeting. Do you think that Shirley or any of the other boards are talking about this? And she thought about it for a minute and said, I don't think that it's been addressed in our town. So maybe they were thinking the same way that we were thinking, like,
Well, I
It's
asked them
their
at
grant,
our
yeah.
board,
yeah.
anybody having any discussions on this? And they said, no, not really.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting. Well, I think I really like the idea of setting up a link or, you know, an area
Yeah.
that you can go to, and if, you know, I mean, it's subject to review, of course, it's gotta be appropriate, but if
Yeah.
people at home have information on groups, on, you know,
We could be like a clearinghouse.
exactly,
Yeah.
you know, as long as it's appropriate, we'd be happy to post information, and maybe if we can connect one person, that's a,
Yeah. Well, one of the things that concerns me about all this and why I brought it up in the beginning is that it seems like it's a very, very serious problem, but in many ways it's being swept under the carpet.
right.
And it's affecting a lot of people. Historically, because of our mindset, it has been used to put down different groups or whatever. It's been identified with different groups, so, you know, it's been easy to say, well, that's happening to them, but not to us.
Until it happens
Whatever.
to you.
But now it's so pervasive that
Yeah.
I think that it's not a matter of cops and robbers.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that we really do have to have a dialogue with the law enforcement people and include them.
Yeah,
in,
they should be.
I would love to
Yeah.
include them, because I would love for them to address that question of, what if I'm a young person, and I know my parents are using,
Yeah.
can I call you and say they have drugs and that my parents won't go to jail? Will they, or will they? You know, I think
That
this
was,
could be a good question.
another question we
Yeah.
had when they say they call and they say someone's overdosed and there's paraphernalia or whatever,
Yeah.
but they don't call because they don't want to get
Right,
arrested.
right,
But
right.
they want to know.
But didn't
Yeah.
they just have, and I think, I don't want to be quoted, but I think it was in Lowell where the kid did pick up the phone and call the police.
Yeah,
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 that was in the
yeah,
paper, but,
exactly.
okay.
Well, one last thing about this, I picked this up in today's, I think it was the Wall Street Journal, I don't think it was the Boston, but I'm not positive, that there is some new data out now that is suggesting that in the states where pot has been legal the longest, they're starting to see a little drop in the opioid deaths. And I thought, that's interesting. I'm not saying the people that are addicted
I
to
can
opiates are
kind of
switching
see
pot,
that. I
but
can kind of see that.
if that's part of the mix that helps it,
It's the recovery process.
So
It's
be it.
going cold turkey, and
yeah,
I can see that.
yeah, maybe that is it. Maybe.
And
it
you know,
just
the
helps
other
with some
thing
part of
is,
it.
is that, and I'm going to go public here because I was married to a heroin addict,
Wow.
and he got addicted. He had 2 concussions in a year, and he got addicted to his medication. And this was back in the 70s, and it progressed.
Yeah.
And I want to say that it's the whole lock them up, you know, they're really bad humans. It really isn't true. And I
Yeah.
think that it's time that we take stock and, you know, do something that's helpful.
Mhm.
And we've got
Yeah.
such the promise of cannabis is that it provides, I mean, we do need analgesics. I mean, people are in a lot of pain. One of the
Right.
things is that we're keeping people alive a lot longer
Mhm.
than we used to. And people, and Mary, you know this, people are sicker and endure more pain than they've ever been able to in history because you couldn't keep people alive.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
So, you know, it's
Yeah.
the aftermath of that, and it's a legacy, but it's also, I think that the drug companies have to be culpable because when you look at the actual practices and the pill mills and everything else, there has to be complicity amongst all kinds of people, or they wouldn't be manufacturing all these things to
Mhm.
the extent that they do.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there, on the one hand, there's that legitimate need for pain relief, and then there's that part of you that says, "But they've got to know
I think that
their
some of them have been called on the carpet now because a friend of mine,
Yeah.
her son had the wisdom teeth out,
Yeah.
and she's a nurse, and she went with him, and then when she picked up the prescription, they gave him 5 OxyContin or something, and that was
Yeah.
it. And she said, I remember back in the day when I had
Oh,
my
yeah.
wisdom teeth out, got 30 days
Yeah.
supply
Yeah.
or something ridiculous like that,
Yeah.
and that's how it happens. I think they're being a little bit more careful, like
Yeah.
5, and then start doing the Motrin, and I think you'll be
Yeah,
fine,
I think
but-
there is a lot
yeah.
of pressure.
Yeah, but I
on
think
the
too that
drivers.
you have to take some responsibility yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you have, say, some same-day surgery,
Yeah.
or you have some dental work, they'll ask you, are you allergic to anything? I'm double checking because you fill that out on your
Yeah.
paper. They
Yeah.
double check, that's fine. I'm going to write you. I said, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Oh, you are going to be in such pain tonight that you'll be calling me all kinds of names. I'm going to give you a prescription. I said, save your paper. I'm not taking it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, your face is going to be swollen. You're going to
Yeah,
be so
I know.
sore. I have Motrin in the house. All right, I'll expect your call tomorrow. When I'm back for a checkup 10 days later, he said, well, I guess you win. I said, I told you, I'm not taking drugs.
And some people's pain threshold is very different. I
Well,
That's true
you know,
too, yeah.
I
Yeah,
also
but you're
think
right, take account of,
But-
you know.
But anyway, okay.
But I also
Anything
think
else?
that this goes along with not keeping people in the hospital, but doing all these outpatient things.
So that is an interesting piece of it. Yeah, if you're going home sooner.
Yeah,
going
and
home
you're
with a prescription.
unsupervised,
Yeah.
and you're really unsupported. I mean, how many people are going back with a lot of disability, and taking by themselves? You know,
I think that's true.
so
It's a lot to consider.
It's a
Yeah.
really complicated.
it's complicated.
All right, well, thank you so much to both of you. You are doing an awesome job staying on top of this. Okay, mail. What do we have? We have, these have all got to be related. All right, let's look at the easy one. Central Mass Mosquito Control Project. The standard residential spraying problem will cease at the end of August due to reduced mosquito populations. But they are making sure we know that West Nile virus has been found in many areas in Mass. No human cases to date, but we're getting to the highest risk part of the season because there are still mosquitoes around and the spraying is ending. So, be aware. All right, we have an animal bite. Someone was bitten on the left wrist by a dog. And this came from, okay, all right, and Carlene, got that, very good. This one, okay, that's something else. What else have we got here? Yeah, that's another copy of that. Let's see if we have any more. Okay, here's another thing of the Conoco mineral oil. DEP is going, let's see, has sent to Mark Wetzel. They have inspected the new Ridgeview Heights water storage tank, referred to as the Pingree Hill water tank in Ayer. And there are a couple of things to be completed. Installation of a fence, new loam and grass. I guess that's it. And then if that is done within 90 days of this letter, which was July 27th, then that tank is going to be approved for delivery of safe drinking water. So that's good. We have an email here from, remember I don't remember what our wording was, our strongest possible objections? Or vehemently
yes.
opposed? Yes, vehemently opposed. That
So
was
we
it.
got a reply?
Yes, this was Melanie O'Malley from Mass Public Health Association emailed Jane asking for my email address as well as the two of yours, that they wanted to respond to a letter that they had received from the Ayer Board of Health and wanted to let the board know we're aware of this bill and we'll take any necessary action. Would also like to suggest that the Ayer Board of Health send a letter to the chair of the committee in which the bill sits if they have not already. And we did send...
You did that, though, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. So that was very nice. They were actually the only person that we heard from. Our apparently elected representatives were not quite...
Well, they're busy figuring out
That's
the
right.
marijuana
They've got
policy,
important things on their mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Okay. So there are two forms here. This is 15 Fitchburg Road. And it looks like this has gone to the ZBA.
Oh,
This is Gibby 5 LLC, which is looking for special permit to convert the existing structure from a commercial use to a single-family dwelling. Fitchburg Road.
I thought 20 was shopping safe, wasn't it?
I'm not
15
sure.
Fitchburg Road?
Yeah.
Get your phone up there, Trish.
15 Fitchburg Road.
And it's an existing business and they want to make a single family? What is that you
They're
said?
asking
There's a
a
map.
special permit to convert an existing structure from commercial use to a single-family dwelling. Could this be possibly where the graphics?
That's what I was just wondering. That was
Yeah.
for sale for
Yeah.
ages. And the sign just came down
Yeah,
about
that's
3
where I
weeks
think
ago.
it is.
It is.
Yeah, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
that's the graphics across
I mean,
from the, yeah.
It was actually was a house and then she
Yeah,
made it. So
yeah, yeah, okay.
because I think, oh my God, we're losing a business, but
Yeah.
you know, that was a
Yeah,
house. She
they
put a
were
business
already-
in there,
It was
and
a
then she
hairdressing.
moved out,
Yeah.
and then it's been for sale for
Yeah.
oh my gosh, half the summer at least.
Okay, so this is something I'm sure Bridget will take care of. I don't think there's any, it's not,
What
it's
is
not
it for?
aquifer. They're looking for a special permit to convert, special permit pursuant to an Ayer zoning bylaw to convert an existing structure from commercial use to a single-family dwelling.
And now, this is the second one?
No, this is what, you asked what this one was for.
Oh, this is the Fitchburg Road that we
Yeah.
just talked about.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Yeah.
why is it just comes to all the boards, even though it's not active or
Yeah,
anything like
right,
that?
right, it's not aquifer, it's
No.
just, it's, it's on the list
On the
of,
list.
yeah.
Okay.
They do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carly.
Everybody has,
Or-
yeah.
Oh, we all do. I did the same
But
thing.
it's better this way.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is,
yeah,
because then everybody
everybody
sees
knows
it.
Instead
Yeah.
of you
on.
going and saying, oh, I have to go to this board this week and I have to go to that, it just gets circulated. If you don't have anything on it, you just
Yikes.
send it on.
And ultimately, I give those to Bridget, and
Yeah.
she does those things.
It
But
works.
they just came in today, so I put them in the folder.
Oh, this one is interesting. So this is for the old fire station.
Oh,
And this is seeking a variance to allow residential use on the street level, allow residential use on a lot approximate, 9,870 square feet where 10,000 is required.
Mm.
So they're like 130 square feet
I think
short.
it's going to be 7 units now, isn't it? That's what he said at the selectmen's meeting.
units for
See, it
houses.
says, yeah, residential. It says the number of units. The
Well,
other
it had been a long time since it was approved, and the
Yeah.
selectmen said, hey, either bring us the signed papers or don't tell us
Yeah.
we have to go out again,
That's
you
been
know.
going
Because,
on.
yes, that's why that
Yeah.
you finally got this in, I
I
think.
don't think
But
this
that's what he
says
said.
exactly how many units.
Well, I believe that's what
That's what I
Alan
remember
said
hearing
added
before,
too.
yeah.
Because
And-
originally it was, we said, oh my gosh, you can't get that many in there. There'd be I have a closet that would be bigger,
Well,
you know.
one of the things they're asking for is to allow living units to have not less than 700 square feet.
Correct.
Where 750 square feet is required. So there's going to be some 700 square feet.
Oh, but I think originally,
That's small.
Pam, it was going to be, the first guy said he was going to put like 10 or 12 units, and that's why I
that's
said,
crazy.
you gotta be
Sheesh,
kidding
I don't know
me.
how.
You know, you turn
You would
around
fit
and
all
poke
that.
yourself in the
yeah.
eye.
What do they call those lofts or studios?
Oh, that'd be tiny.
Get the Murphy
So
bed.
that's all just what
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was referenced to.
Huh.
Still
All right.
nothing on the coming soon there, that they've had that sign for
Oh,
business
downtown.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese
It's coming.
bistro, is it?
Coming
Yeah.
soon.
coming soon.
I wish you would hurry up. Meanwhile, I'm working on the people at Pauline's to open an Indian restaurant. And I always get the same reaction. In Ayer? Oh my gosh, yes!
Walk downtown, we have
Please.
so many different.
I know. Okay, on August 7th, I received an email from Carlene that she had 2 complaints in the last 4 weeks regarding the Maxit property, 17 Taft Street, and it was, the complaints she received were on July 14th and July 27th, both from an abutting property owner, and had to do with goats getting out onto the abutter's property and on the rail trail, where people on their bikes are dodging the animals. Oh my God. Second complaint was goats and horses eating her grass through broken fencing. So she tried to contact the property owner with no response. She then spoke with Mike Cahill. On August 1st, she went up and looked at the property and said that she said the animals appeared healthy, yet the number of animals had increased to the point of inadequate housing, which is going to be an issue as winter comes on, and that there was not proper containment fencing. So, the latest update, I had responded to her and said make sure you keep the animal control officer in the loop, because she's the one that it would actually corral, as I put it, stray animals. Let's see.
So can I ask a question, because I'm not familiar with the...
Of course, yes.
If this is a farm, or I know you have like the permits for the chickens and everything, does each and every one of these animals need to be permitted, or just like accounted for?
Their farm.
So it's a farm is different than just having like a few chickens on your property.
That's all.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
a different thing when
The
we did
more
that.
I've looked into it, it looks like the definition of a farm is you have to meet several criteria to be a farm. You have to have commercial plates, you have to be registered as a farm with Department of Agriculture. I'm not entirely sure if all of those, and I think it's one of those, you must meet all of these criteria, not some of them. I'm not entirely sure, and I have asked Carlene to look into that. She does inspect them, as in her barn book, she inspects them.
So she counts, she knows if there's, like in 6 months, there's more goats and more
Yes,
goats. And,
and one of the issues that she had pointed out to me earlier was that there were no ear tags on the goats,
That's what I
which
was
is
wondering
required by law.
The ear tags, though, those aren't like permit. Isn't that the agricultural tag? That's not.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
different than permitting.
Right. No, that's an actual in the year. So she has spoken with MSPCA to weigh in on the number of animals and proper housing and safety, because of her concerns about the number of animals. So I'm going to follow up with her about that.
Yeah, there are actually some concerns about whether that's legitimate farm, because legally you have to have 5 acres.
Is that what it is?
At least.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, whether it's all or nothing, you need to be taxed, paying taxes as a farmer.
It has to be agricultural
You
land.
need a plate on your vehicle that says you're an agricultural. Either maybe one or more of these things. And it's questionable, because I think Carlene's asked for
Yes,
verification,
yeah.
and it's
Well,
not
she's
yet
contacted
received.
the proper people.
She has,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll have follow-up then
Yeah.
the next.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I will have some follow-up, I
Yeah.
believe, on that one. So that's what we have for mail. Let's see what we have in the to be signed. Okay, so the minutes we're going to revise, so that's a revise. And we have 47 Washingtons. What was mine? Oh, I was at 46.
And they didn't have chickens before, but they had them before, but
Oh,
they
they're
didn't
increasing
have them,
the
and now
number of
they-
chickens. Okay.
Yeah, and now they came back and
Oh,
said
goodness.
replenish their chickens, so.
We're adding more chickens. Washington Street. And you've been spending money, I see $52.18 on manila folders, my goodness.
I got big ones so that I could
How much?
It is $52.18 to WB Mason. This was for, looks like manila folders
Vanilla?
and some
Vanilla. Okay.
filing supplies. Let's make this easy. I need to check the date again. 20.
I had to get big files for
Oh, you don't
41
have
East
the
Main
pencil,
Street.
Big ones?
Big ones.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Those the jumbo capacity. Yeah. I have a few clients that have those too.
I couldn't figure out how to file the
But
files.
isn't it interesting that he hasn't been out there starting anything?
Yeah, that's good.
He's
Well, let's see. So that's our bills. I don't think we have any miscellaneous. Do we have any miscellaneous?
I don't think we've hit everything tonight anyway. I think
No.
we've got half the agenda done.
Administrative
time.
assistant.
We pretty much have the update on everything.
We do with one exception. I just wanted to mention that our office is moving.
What do you mean our office is moving?
Our office is moving. So because of having an economic development director and having now a full-time planner, we have apparently run out of offices that you can close the door on. So, Jane is moving into, she's just going around the corner, so she'll be sharing that space with Alicia. And is it, actually, do they know yet? Is it the planner that's gonna go in?
Yes,
Our
the
office?
planner is going in the in my office.
And Alan is
And Alan
moving
is moving
down
down,
the
here
first
to the
floor.
treasurer's office.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, got it.
Where
So-
is the treasurer going?
The treasurer is going in the clerk's office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're doing kind of a musical chairs thing to free up an office with a door. So all of our files will go. Jane has reviewed her space, and are you?
So clarify that again. So where Alan is sitting right now,
Is going to be where Jane is.
oh, he's going in there, not the new planner.
No, Alan is going down to the treasurer's
Oh,
office.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The new
So-
planner is the one that's coming upstairs.
Yes.
Yes. The new planner is going into the old Board of Health office. Well, the current Board of Health office.
And we're going to be able to get, so we're sharing an office with the economic development
No.
lady.
Well,
Yeah, we
She
are.
is, no, because she's community development.
yeah.
It's a same difference. It's paid out of the same grant money.
Okay,
It's community and economic development is the long title.
That's fine. Yeah.
So she's still there.
Yes.
We're sharing the office with her.
Yes.
We're going to be able to get our 4 file cabinets in there because they've got all their stuff in there.
No. I think the plan, isn't the plan that the file cabinets are
Okay.
staying?
This,
And-
okay, this is what Carly said, and I've got to do a little pushback on this.
Okay.
Because I went up and surveyed and it's not gonna work.
Okay.
The the way that it was presented was that I was going to take the files, leave the file cabinets behind, but take the files over and put them in the existing files. But there's just simply not enough space.
There's not enough space.
Yeah,
Okay.
but there is enough space to bring the 2 file cabinets that are there in the office over. So I've got to have that
Okay.
conversation with Carly.
Okay.
And I just haven't had a
Because we
chance
bought
yet.
those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then the file cabinets in the hallway can stay there.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
Shepley's.
But the other ones, and one of the things I'd like to have a little direction from the board about is what should I do about all the emergency planning stuff I've got and materials?
I think that stuff should go to the fire station
Okay.
because they're the, kind
That
of
makes sense.
point of,
Emergency.
Should
gathering of
I
contact.
reach out to Chief Pedrazi about that?
I would work it through Carly because
Okay.
Carly's, kind of doing the coordination of
Yeah.
the move. So I had asked her about that too, and I said, I think some of that stuff may even be obsolete now, but
A lot of
I'm
it, yeah.
not entirely sure.
Yeah, I think so.
It might be something that if we have time to go through at some point,
Mhm.
maybe we will, but at this point, I would just move it to
Okay.
the fire
Because
station.
Carly said, "Oh, you don't have to have all the Shepley Hills stuff. As long as you have everything on disc," and I do. So
Yeah.
she's told me I could get rid of the Shepley Hills stuff. I don't see that there's any reason to do that, really. But I think she misunderstood about our files. So I've got to
Yeah.
have that conversation with her because I came in and, there was no discussion with me whatsoever. I was just brought into this meeting and told all this stuff. So I'm not sure she knows the total
Okay.
situation.
Were you asked or you were
Yep.
just told?
When I talked to Carly, I told her that I agree if we have a disc. I said some of the Shepley's things might be old enough that we don't have a disc, and on those I wouldn't,
Yeah,
but they could be scanned.
yeah.
So, but you're right, I think she misunderstands that most of the Shepley stuff should be out in the hallway, things anyway.
Yeah.
I ran through with her what things we have. I said we certainly need a place for office supplies. We have property files. We have establishment files. And we want to maintain those, certainly, because it's nice to just pull out a file and see what it is.
Absolutely.
So certainly we have to have room for that. If they're the burial records, we have to keep. I think, but they're really small. They're
Yeah.
on those little.
Yeah. And
files.
I've got those in those files. So if I can bring
Yeah.
those 2 files over, I'm going to be in Clover. And then we did measure,
Mhm.
and there's plenty of space there.
Okay.
So I think I just need to have a conversation with her
Yeah.
and take her up so she can actually
Yeah.
see what's
Let
there.
me know if you run into any issues with
I
that,
will,
and I'd be happy
because-
to talk to Carly
Okay,
because
thank you.
it sounded when I talked to her. I said, well, if we can get all of our stuff in the existing file cabinets, I'm
there's
not
no
opposed
way.
to it. Right.
But there's no way. And I think she thinks that I keep my files out in the hallway maybe or something.
Yeah, maybe. So
I don't
just,
know. I don't think she quite grasped.
And I also told her that we need locking files just
Yeah,
because.
because if they're
Yeah.
in there,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
exactly.
will keep them locked.
Yeah. So that's when she said she didn't know about the existing files, but they could have them drilled for locks if they need
No,
to do
I
that.
haven't.
But yeah, talk
We
to
have
her.
nice file cabinets.
Right. Talk to her and
Yeah.
see if that's.
Yeah, I
An
will. And
issue.
if I, hit any headwind, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Because they
That's-
discussed this they discussed the revision of office space it was brought up at the selectmen's meeting.
Yeah.
But nothing was said.
Right.
Like, well, we're looking at it because I think it might, one of them said, where is the new planner going to
Yeah.
be? And
Yeah.
you also know that they're going to be hiring a new conservation agent.
Yep,
So that was all that was said.
yeah,
But then you say that now, when we're talking about the emergency planning, remember that we have files on Region 2, and we need to keep those files of ours, because we're involved in that Region 2 planning.
we do, but since we've appointed Nishoba as our representative to that, can those files, or should they go to Nishoba?
They have less space than we have, I can tell you. They are crammed. Well, remember, they got 15
Okay.
community. Because the
That-
poor new girl somebody was in there asking for something on a property
Yeah,
in another town, and she said, could you go in there and wait in that office? I have to go down in the basement and hunt through
oh, that
this.
building has a basement? I
Yeah.
guess I just assumed it was a slab. Wow.
No,
Huh.
no. So,
Yeah, if that turns into bone of contention, I think the materials is that it kind of falls in that Shepley's category of stuff that we could keep out in the hall if we end up pressed for space on where to put the region.
well, I think we have space in the hallway in that. We had empty
I think
space
we
in
do,
that cabinet
yes, I
because
think
we
we do
had
too.
some extra stuff. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm saying reference to that, because if
Yeah.
anybody says, what about that? Wait a minute, we have it there.
Yeah, but that's not anything that would need to be locked up. And the equipment, just ask Carly to coordinate with Chief Pedrazi sending that down to the fire
Yeah.
station.
What equipment are you talking about sending up?
Don't we have some
Oh,
old
man.
radios and
Yeah, all
things
kinds of
and
stuff,
I
yeah.
don't even
And
know
they're,
if it's,
they're piled on
you know.
top of the file cabinets.
yeah,
the
I
stuff.
don't even know if they're current technology.
And
They could be
it's-
so obsolete.
Well,
They
you
are.
probably should have them, but I think as part of that regional plan, though, if
Yeah.
we got called out at night and had to participate, we need some of those. But it's true, we might as well look at, some of them might be obsolete, we've had
Yeah,
them so
and-
long.
But we're
What's-
not, but we're not in
Yeah.
responder
Right, the
queue
fi- the-
anymore.
The fire chief is like the town coordinator.
Oh,
for-
he's always
for
been for
emergency
that,
response.
always
Exactly.
been.
So I think that having that sort of thing reside where he and his people are makes sense. If we need to get to it for anything health related, we can. It's not like the fire station is so far away. But I see what your point is, and I was a little skeptical when I spoke to her on the phone about all the stuff in the lateral files fitting into
Yeah.
verticals, but I said, well, if it fits and it can lock.
Well,
but-
she claimed that it would, and I had never paid any attention to what was over there, and I went over and looked, and it was no way.
Yeah, okay.
So, I do have to have that conversation
Okay.
with her.
Well, let me know.
I
Let me know if you run into any
I
problems.
will.
That should not be a big deal. You take the drawers out. Yeah, they're
Yeah, they
heavy,
can-
but you move them.
They can move them, because they
Yeah.
moved them when they did the carpeting.
Because those cabinets, the file
Yeah.
cabinets, are nice size and good ones that are in
Yeah,
our
they are,
office.
yeah.
I certainly wouldn't
Yeah.
want to get rid of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Well, at the very least, if there's some reason that I'm not aware of why that can't happen, then they're going to have to get us additional
Files.
vertical files.
Yeah.
If that's,
I don't think we should have to give up something that's convenient for us just to meet somebody else.
Yeah, we have to pick our battles too. It
Well.
depends on if that's. I think the key word is convenient. If it's much less convenient for you to do it in another format,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Then we shouldn't really have to do it that way.
Right.
Especially if there's space, and they fit.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that's the. Anything else for administrative assistant?
Like I said, I think we hit it.
I know. I think we've had everything.
Well, I'm going to be gone. I
Oh,
guess
that's right.
I
Yeah.
said something about that already, but now I'll officially say it. I am going down south,
Yeah.
leaving Friday, and I won't be back in the office until next Thursday.
You hopefully will not be swept out to sea.
Well, my brother is in Houston.
Yes,
so-
or he won't be swept out to sea.
And then we have Irma.
Oh my
coming up.
gosh, I know.
I'm just really looking forward to this plane trip because, you know, I'm afraid that there's going to be a lot of air
Yeah,
turbulence.
there probably is. There probably is. Unless they can just get up above it.
Yeah, sometimes they can, and sometimes, in my experience, they can't. Like in a yo-yo.
Well, you're not going
So-
to have anything moved when Jane is out of the office, are you? I mean, wait,
Yeah. The idea is to have the new person in place, and I think they were doing interviews last week, this week?
Today.
Today. So if that person has to give 2 weeks' notice, the soonest they can be in.
that's
the
all
office
I
is
don't want
the
you,
18th.
you know, you come in and you find out everything is thrown everywhere. That was
No,
my
no,
concern.
no. That would be, and I don't think Kylie would do that, but do make sure that she
Yeah, no,
understands that is
There's
not our
a
wish.
timetable. There's a
Yeah.
timetable, and actually, you know, and everything is mapped out, and we don't move, I think, until something like the second week in September or something.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it might be even a little later, but you know, don't worry. I will be there when it happens.
I know.
Yeah,
And I know you'll let me know if you run into it.
I will. I will.
Okay.
Expect
So we
my
could
call.
perhaps, I think as far as our action items, I think, let's touch base on the agenda. I think they're kind of the usual. We'll do,
Right.
Another update on opioid if you've got any further on
I
that.
should have heard. I will probably hear by then, yeah,
Okay.
from that other group.
Might have something with Nasoya. I am.
I'm sure there'll be an update on
Yeah,
that.
I have a feeling there'll be a Nasoya update. I am going to need, just a heads up, a volunteer to do Shepley's meetings while I am in school. My class starting this fall is on Thursday nights, and they always do their meetings on Thursday nights. So I'm assuming that that's because that's the night that works for everyone. So if either of you are interested, I know you're doing a lot with
Oh, I'm not.
opioid, so you're not interested.
The only thing that I have to,
Oh.
Wednesday nights are usually, I'm at that other meeting. Thursday nights, if it's not soccer night, I can make some arrangements.
There's
with
only
that.
4 in here.
There's only 4, so when would the next one be?
Well, we kind of set a tentative date of, I don't recall if it was the first or the second Thursday in September. And because they're kind of fluid, you know, we said, well, you know, there's vacations and all.
Yeah.
There'll be a notice from,
Okay.
Bob
Okay.
Simeon. So if it's that first week in September, I can go to that.
That's the 7th,
Yeah, if it's the 13th,
14th
14th, that's the first night,
of your class.
yeah, of my
Okay.
class. So
How long you going to class?
it's the whole school year.
Oh, it's a whole year
Yeah,
class.
it's the whole school year. So I can do the summer one. That's the
So it's
the one
twice
that I
a
can
month?
do. No, it's 4 times a year.
4 times a
It's
year, which is
roughly every 3 months.
When you
Oh,
said school, I thought you meant something like you just said, I've got to go for
Oh,
training.
yeah,
This is
no.
school
This
school.
is, yeah, this is German.
Oh,
I'm
you
taking
did
it to the next
class?
level.
Oh,
yeah.
my.
Well, I've gone through all the German classes they offer at, what is it, Middlesex
Yeah.
Community.
okay.
Now I'm going to the German American Club in Walpole for an immersion.
Oh.
Good for you.
So-
valuable to have.
I am very
think so.
nervous about this. I don't feel I'm ready to be immersed, especially after taking the summer away from it. So,
In September, you think it'll be the first or second week?
yeah, it'll probably be the first or second week, but I'll be emailing
Email me
you,
and- yeah.
and I'll forward you whatever I get from
Okay.
Robert, and we'll figure out
Figure
who's
out.
gonna
Okay.
do that one. Now, someone from Pace always goes.
Mhm.
And Rich Doherty, the PACE consultant, always goes. Actually, more than one person from PACE usually go. And it's Mass DEP and EPA, and
Yep.
it's, you've been to them.
Yeah.
There's 1,000,001 people there.
Yep.
So it is nice if Air Board of Health can go. We're not a required attendee.
It's good to have
so if you do,
representation, yeah.
it is good to have representation. Yeah. So if we can, I'd like to continue it. If we can't, we got to do what we got to do.
Okay, I'll
Okay.
find out.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you. We will meet again
All
on
right.
September 11th, and it is
I will
7.
make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.